So today we're going to be going over the airbags that we carry here at Bristol Fire. They're stored in the back of 4-engine 2. We have the control box and the control unit and everything is in there, along with the airbags. We have several different sizes. Also back here we keep some pieces of 4-inch LDH that are used for edge protection and to protect the bags from sharp objects. They're also stored back here with the cones, currently a generator, and the chimney bucket. So that stuff may be on top of them.
All right, so when you open the control box, this is what it's gonna kind of look like. In here, the contents include multiple airlines. The different colors help when you're giving instructions for which bag you're lifting on. This one is generally used to come from an SCBA cylinder to the main controls. We also have two smaller airbags in the control in this box as well. More LDH to help protect the bags if necessary. We have the main controller here, and then multiple valves, and then the regulator as well. We will go into more detail on those a little bit later in the video.
Okay, for this step, we're going to go ahead and grab our supply bottle and hook our regulator to it. Okay, now that we have the regulator attached to our air bottle, we're going to go ahead and grab our black line and we're going to connect it to our control assembly. So it goes in the single port at the back. And this end connects over here to our regulator.
So now that Jake has the regulator hooked up to the bottle, we're going to just discuss hooking up to the actual airbags themselves. So you would take one of these lines here. We're going to hook up two different bags. If our camera person zooms in, these are little push releases, but they also have locks on them as well that spin. So if you can't get this to release, it's probably because the lock is spun up to its locked position. So just make sure that's fully retracted. When you're plugging in here, it's the same type of lock here. So same thing, you just want to make sure that's spun all the way down in the unlocked position. You're going to go ahead and push that line in, make sure that's fully seated, and then go ahead and lock that in place. We're going to do that with two different lines. Try to keep this somewhat organized, so you can see. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is we're going to actually hook to a bag. I'm just going to use these two smaller ones because they're easier to manipulate and show you. We try to put one of these valves onto each bag. That way you can technically deploy a bag, you can shut the valve, leave it in place, remove the line, and go to a different bag to operate that bag if necessary. So if we carry 4 of these, so whenever possible, try to put these in place. So same thing, you're gonna hook this regulator or this valve to the bag, gonna lock it so that it stays in place, and then you're gonna go ahead and hook your line. And now your bags are hooked up and ready to be used.
Okay, so now we're going to actually set up to lift something. So we're going to turn our SCBA bottle on. And you can see our pressure on this gauge is bottle pressure. And this is our regulator. Right now we don't have any discharge pressure. What we typically set the pressure regulator at here is around 100 PSI. The max working pressure of the bags is slightly higher, as marked on them. but we find 100 works pretty good and it's easy number to remember. So to set the pressure regulator, you're going to turn it up to positive. And we're going to get it right around 100. So now we have pressure to our controller. And if you look over here, we have the little bags all set up to lift this. The bags are labeled with how much weight they'll lift. And in our book, if you look at your task sheet, it also tells you how high each bag will lift. And it also tells you the weight rating of each bag.
Okay, just one thought when you're setting up bags. Again, we don't want to stack more than 2 bags when we're lifting. We want to take into account any sharp edges. We want to make sure we protect those. If we are setting up bags on cribbing, we want to make sure that the top layer of that cribbing is a solid layer so that the bag has full contact with that at all times. And the last thing to consider is making sure that your control valves here are in a place where you don't have to put your hand into a pinch point at all and that they're easy to access. We also don't recommend putting the controls right beside each other so that there's less likely an error to be made when you're manipulating the controls.
Okay, so we're all set up to lift. We have the 2 bags stacked. You want to make sure that we lift with the bottom bag first and then the top. And as we lift, George is going to crib as we go. You lift an inch, you crib an inch.
Ready?
I'm ready if you are.
Up on yellow.
Okay, so I look, my yellow's coming in this side. I'm going to hit the green to lift.
Stop on yellow. This is not how you would actually crib this. Up on blue.
So I follow my blue line. It's on this side, so I press green to go up with my blue.
Stop on blue. And you would crib appropriately and support that.
Okay, so now that we've lifted and we're ready to lower the airbags, to lower, we're gonna hit the red buttons. So I'll go down on blue first because that's the top bag. That's down, and then I'll go down with the yellow. And that's deflating. And then you just break down the system, the opposite of hooking it up.
Okay, once you're complete your operation and you're ready to break down the system, we just want to cover how to actually release the pressure in the system safely. And so we're going to start that now. So the first thing, we have a small bag inflated right now. So if this was under an object or whatever, we would, of course, whichever valve that was coming in through, we would press the red button to deflate that bag, and that's going to release the pressure in that bag. Once we're done all of that, we're going to turn the cylinder off. And then once the cylinder is off, we're going to use this regulator to release the pressure in the valve body. And then once that's released completely, we're safe to undo all of our lines. There should be no pressure left in the system, and then you can continue to undo all of your lines.